Hello. Hello and happy Friday. It's the end of yet another week. Yes. How's everybody doing today? I'm glad y'all are here. I was just briefly going through the comments. Deb, I see you're still a tiny bit under the weather. I'm so sorry. I know Lonnie, I think she said hers was hanging on too, the bug that she caught. I'm sorry. Hi, Anne and Deborah Sue and Valera. I love it. Let's see, who else did I see on? Kim is here. Hey, Kim, happy Friday. And let's see. Very rainy, huh? Up in northern Florida. We've had a very overcast day, which is one of the things that I like about October here in central Florida. It always seems like it's a little more overcast. And I think we're actually supposed to get our first cold front. I heard was supposed to be coming through today. It'll still be 80 tomorrow, but at least the weekend is supposed to be a little bit drier. That's what I heard, from the meteorologist that I follow on Facebook, just to make sure there's no hurricanes imminent. That would be my motivation there. So, but yeah, rain definitely makes for good curling up weather. That's for sure. All right. And maybe some rain next week. I like it. And then let's see. So, yep, Kim, you still have a cough. Ugh, don't like that. Hey, Karen, glad you're here. And Cindy is here. And Lois from Iowa. I love it. Welcome. And Cindy B, did I say? I know Cindy Harrison is on here a lot of times too. Hey, Diane, glad to see you. And Sue Fuller is here. I love it. Linda, all the way from Tennessee. We have two Lindas, by the way, who live in the same town in Tennessee. How awesome is that? I think y'all live in the same town, if I remember correctly. And then Tish, who always wins the award in my book for the weather, currently 60. Ooh, 34 this morning. I went for a walk this morning. I don't know that I would have if it had been 34 degrees. Angie, you guys have rain in Ormond? Okay. Looks like that side of the state is getting all the rain today. All right. So you're about 48 degrees, Karen, at the moment. Ooh, that's a little bit chilly. All right. Well, I'm glad y'all are here. Welcome, welcome. So it's been another busy week here at Swan City Yarns. I have, let's see, we have finished up. I went ahead and took down the pink ribbon pre-order just because I had gotten them all dyed up in my brain. It's kind of how I think, like, okay, they're all dyed up. Let me take the listing down. Maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. And I'm not going to show you what the colorway looks like yet because some went out yesterday, some are going out today, and I don't want to ruin the surprise for everybody. So I'll show you what it looks like next week. I do have a few left over that will go in the shop. It's a pretty good colorway. So who knows, maybe at some point I'll put it back up now that you know what the colorway looks like, or once you know what the colorway looks like. I don't know. We'll see. I don't have it. It's not in black and white for me. However, we did raise over $100 for the breast. Let me get it right. I always want to put Central Florida first, but it's the Breast Cancer Foundation of Central Florida. So I'll be getting that check in the mail to them. So I didn't tell y'all last week that I was going to go to a yarn shop, a local yarn shop near me. It's only about 45 minutes away from me. That's close. If you live in Florida, where I live, that's close. So it's the yarn store. It's new in the sense that new owners have taken it over. There was there before, but somebody else owned it apparently. And I kept thinking I would go over because it's near me. You know, you're supposed to go say hi and welcome and all that. And I just never did. Well, new owners. And I just happened to see Friday evening just before I went to bed. I told Bo, I said, oh, they're having a grand opening tomorrow. And he made some comment that made it sound like he would be in favor of driving me So we went on Saturday and had a great time. Vicky is one of the yarn shop owners. It's a great store. If you're local and are thinking of going, you should. It's a great store. And I think, I don't know if it was their first day open, but I got the sense, and I could be wrong about this, that they'll be making it, more their own store and adding inventory and things like that. So one of the things that I noticed while I was there, they had a good selection of yarns and then knitting notions. They had some cocoa knits things, and they also had a good selection of DPNs. So let me show you what I bought. So I have a set of, hey, Karen from Tulsa, glad you're here. And Joe Carroll's here too. Hey, Joe Carroll, I'm glad you're here. Happy to see you. And so I have a set of a variety of sizes of DPNs from Gu, and I like them. I think they would be, I'm guessing that they are, let's see, what are these? 6-inch. And the ones that I use most often are a size 1, because that's what I knit all my socks in, at least fingering weight socks. I use a size 1 needle. And so I only have one set of size 1 DPNs in that, that whole set. And so I don't lose them, but I have multiple project bags. And so I'm usually, when it comes time to start decreasing on the toe, I'm like, okay, where are my DPNs? And sometimes I'm too lazy to get off the couch, so I don't end up finishing up the toe that night because I gotta go find my DPNs. So while I was there, I was looking through their selection, and they had quite a few. So I got a variety of brands, all in size 1, that I'm going to try out. Now, the first one is, you've probably heard of this brand. I know I have. Prim, I think it is. And I think they're known for, or they advertise it, they're like very ergonomically designed. Where are the rest? Oh, they're in there. Oh, it's stuck under the thing. Now, the only thing about these, and they're size 1, because I decided to get all size 1 and try different ones. Plus, I'll have, I can put them in different project bags. So whichever project bag I happen to be using at the moment, will have a set of size 1 DPNs in them. Now, these are 8-inch, which is a little long. I mean, obviously it'll work, but I'll be curious to see if when I'm using them, if it gets like, oh, geez, just that tiny little bit, noticing the length that you have to scoot your stitches down. I don't know if that'll happen or not. But anyway, they're very cool. They're a little bit flexible, and I don't know that it says what they're even made of. They're made in Germany. Well, if it says what they're made of, it says it in another language, but they're very cool. And at the tip of each of them, I don't know if you can see it, there's almost like a little bulb on it. And at first I was like, I don't know, is that going to be a pain? But I don't think it will when I'm picking up stitches. So that's one of them. That's one set of DPNs I got. And then I also got Collage. I've never heard of this brand. They're square, which, I like my square needles. I don't know why I'm putting my hand back there. Let me pull it out. So, but these are very cool. I mean, these will probably be the first ones I try, because I do like me a square needle. And they're blue. And they have these little dots on them, but I'm not sure what that's for. These are, I'm pretty sure they're 6 inches. They're metal. And yeah, it doesn't say. I probably should have looked at these more, but I didn't. So anyway, these are, like I said, I'm pretty sure oh no, these are 7-inch. All right, well, looks like there's only 1-inch difference between the two of these, but it looks like, oh yeah, I guess so. All right. So I got a set of 7-inch and a set of 8-inch. But I'm really looking forward to trying these. Like I said, they're metal, but they're square, which I really like a square needle. Now, do I like it on a DPN? I don't know. We'll find out. And then the last one is these Knitter's Pride Dreams, which are the color is called Orange Lily, which I like. The thing I like about the Dreams needles is that they're in all different colors. This particular color is, quite frankly, not all that impressive. I've seen some of them where they're like, I don't know, just very cool colors. But this particular one is just, it's okay. It's called, did I just say what it was called? Orange Lily. Did I say that? I might have said that. Anyway, these are 6 inches and they're just round. I don't know, now looking at it compared to the others, that actually looks kind of short. But I'm pretty sure my others are 6 inches. And really, once you decrease down enough on it, like a toe, that's really all you need is 6 inches. So, and they're round. I may have said that. So anyway, yeah, so now I have 3 more sets of DPNs to add to my project bag. So I'm very excited about that. So I got those at the yarn store. So, so yeah, I highly recommend it. If you're local, I say go see them. Hey, Bobby, glad to see you here. All right, Tish, Prim website says they're made from high performance plastic material. Okay, I can see that. It feels a little bit like nicer than plastic, if that makes sense. But yeah. Thank you, Cindy B. Yes, I should have shown you that. And I did throw away the packaging. It's Collage with a K. So I had never heard of them before, but they're very cool looking, and I'm excited to try them for sure. Karen, it's like wrangling a hedgehog, though I did use DPNs when I first knit socks. Yeah, I like them when I'm decreasing down. Obviously, I'll use my shorties any day. But once I get so far, I have been known to really stretch my shorty cables and like do magic loop, but it's gotten to be too much of a pain, and it's hard on your cords to do that. So unless I'm already having to replace my cords, somewhat often just because I use them so much. So anyway, yeah, so it's good to, I just use the DPNs. I'm good with that. So, all right, what else? I told you about the pink ribbon. That's pretty much it for me. Reading wise, I'm still hung up on Nora Roberts. I've been reading her books. I'll probably, I'll read some of her books and then I'll get off for a while and go read something else. I need to pull out my next Inspector Gamache book is what I need to do and get going on that, because I think I've still got a good 4, maybe even 5 books left on that. So anyway, all right, we have lots of other stuff to talk about. So, here it is. Here's the collage. Let me show you, which Cindy already mentioned it, so I don't know why, but in case you're looking at it, it does say every purchase supports employment programs for people with disabilities. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I was not aware of that. And it's made in Canada. Very cool. All right. That's awesome. Okay. So next up, I have some fun projects to show you all. Let's see if I can find my correct tab here. So let's go through and I will show you what I have come across online. So this first project, well, it's an FO at this point, is by Linda Frank, and she did, I think these are the heel toe do-si-do socks by Crazy Sock Lady, and she used Cordially Yours Santa, and I got the impression that she's doing multiple pairs of these socks, which is fabulous. I love it. All right, and then she also started this pair. She didn't mention a pattern, so it could just be a vanilla sock pattern, but she's using Pomp and Circumstance on sparkly sock, and then also a skein that green is forest. And I have to tell you, I cannot wait to see these socks a little further along because they're looking very interesting. So I'm excited to see some progress photos, I have to say. And then some more fabulous socks. And I think this is a pair of vanilla socks. And she said that she's using Riddle Me This. And then because she could not just do one color socks, she tried. She couldn't. She added Girls Just Want to Have Fun in there, which is awesome. I love that. Such a great colorway. So I'm glad you're using it, Anne. And then Triagonal. So Cindy Harrison, look at this, y'all. This is her third Triagonal shawl. And I want to say I saw yesterday she posted a whip and she only had so many more decreases to go, but then she just whipped it out because I think I saw this early this morning. So yeah, she finished it. Oh, no problem. And that very cool colorway is called Healing Ku. I think I said that right, Karen. Pardon me if I didn't. But anyway, it was, yeah, that was dyed. It was inspired by the Highland Coos over in Scotland. So very nice. All right. And then Cheryl posted this. She is knitting the Renaissance sweater and is using, sorry, I'm looking at my notes because it looks like there's one project that did not get uploaded. All right. So anyway, she is using Keeping It Cool. That's the green, and then Swan White. And I think I know the one that I'm missing, so I'll show it next week. Cindy B, y'all may have seen, finished her Martha shawl, which looks amazing. What a stunning, stunning piece of work. So I don't know. I made the whip picture with it, but somehow when I uploaded, sometimes I usually double check to make sure they're all there. But I think what happened today is I uploaded them and then I was like, oh, wait, there was one that I forgot last week. And I meant to make a whip picture out of it this week because I had forgotten it. But when I remembered it, my phone was already hooked up to be used when my phone is what I use to make the whip pic. So here it is without the whip background. But Gwen Porter had posted this a couple weeks ago now. This is the anchor tee, and she put in stripes, which I absolutely love. It's a great technique with any project, especially if you have wild and crazy skeins, which she didn't even use wild and crazy skeins, but I just love the striping effect. Anyway, it's the anchor tee. I don't know if I said that. And she used Spirit of Freedom is the dark blue, and then flannel pajamas. I remember that. That was a Soxy U colorway. And I remember it because I just love it so much. That is such an awesome colorway. And then the lighter colorway is called Pumpkin Everything. So very nicely done, Gwen. So, and Cindy, I apologize. I will definitely post your shawl next week because it is gorgeous, gorgeous. All right. So I don't have a lot to show. I'll be honest. However, I did finish something. Okay. I have an FO. So let's see here. I finished, and I don't have them on sock blockers because they're all being used for other things, which I'll show you in a minute. But these are the garnet and gold socks that I knit for my stepdaughter, Kayla. So I used garnet and gold. And then, of course, and I made her twinsies just because I didn't know if she would appreciate radically different socks. She's a hippie at heart. So, and that is her dad's affectionate description of her. She would probably love wild and crazy socks, but for now she's getting these, her first pair of socks. We'll see how she does with them. We'll find out if she's knit worthy and if she gets more socks in the future. So I will save those and give them to her. We'll go up at Thanksgiving, so I'll give her an early Christmas gift. And then I still have to knit a hat for her boyfriend. So yes, she does have a heart of gold. She's amazing. She would probably love whatever. You know, what's funny is actually I think she's told me now more than once that she would love to have one of those massive chunky blankets that you have to like hand knit because the yarn is so chunky. And I'm like, girl, I don't think you're getting that from me. We'll see how she does with socks, right? Okay. So anyway, I finished that. I did start Let me show you. Oh, where should I put these? Okay, I don't want to lose them. I did start my baddie for Halloween socks. Oh, let's see. So I made a copy. I didn't bring the book in with me today. I made a copy of the pattern because I like to write. I'm gonna be writing all over my pattern. Just what I do. For example, I already did. She has you do 13 rounds for the cuff. I did 15, so I wrote that down. So stuff like that. So. And I only did the cuff. And I think I was like, what's your problem, Carolyn? So I'm using pumpkin patch, of course, is going to be the main color. And I think the reason that I'm hemming and hawing and I haven't gone further is this. So it's a color work sock, right? I've shown you all. It has bats on it. There's the color work chart. But as y'all know, some people will go up a needle size when they do color work. But I don't typically like to do that. And I only have had a problem one time, which was before I learned how to capture my floats. And once I learned how to do that, it typically is not a problem for me. Like, my tensioning is decent. There's a lot that I do wrong, but my tensioning is okay. So I don't typically like to go up a needle size or anything like that. But she has you next to do an increase round. And some of it might be to make sure that you have the right number of stitches for the color work chart. However, I know that's not the entire reason because the smallest size has you cast on 56 stitches. And then the second size has you cast on 64 stitches. That's the size I typically do for myself. I cast on 64 stitches, size 1 needle. But she has you going up. So the increase round for my size, she has you going up to 80 stitches. That's 16 more stitches in a round. And this first size has you going from a 56 stitches up to 64, which is where I'm already at 64, right? And so in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to do the increases. So, like I said, because 64 stitches will obviously work with the chart, that means that my size, I could just leave it at 64 stitches, do the color work chart, and as long as my tensioning is okay, then I'll be okay, right? That's what I'm thinking. So I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to increase. I'm going to stick with, I guess it'll now be size 1, and then just remember, I'm guessing at the end, she has you decrease down. I didn't even look at that. And that's another thing. I think it's maybe a heel flap. I will be doing a shadow wrap heel because I'm spoiled now. And yeah, that's the toe. I don't know. I don't necessarily see a decrease round. That's interesting. So maybe she just has you decreasing from, your greater stitch count. But for me, I would just decrease as normal. So does that make sense? So I think that's, now that I've made the decision, I can move forward with that. Is the pattern on? Oh, yeah, I'm sure, Tish, that it is. Oh, that's a good idea. I could probably look. Yeah. And again, I'm sure that it's just, hey, Diane, did I say hi to you? I'm sorry. That, sorry, I'm trying to figure out what Bo was saying. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, honey. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's the deal with my socks. So I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, I want to show y'all. I got something in the mail. I don't know if I told y'all that Michelle, one of our swans, who's also a sock cranker, sent me an email. And she said, hey, if you want to send me some yarn, I'll crank you some socks for display purposes and all that good stuff. And I was like, yes, please. So we struck up a deal and I just got some socks back. So I thought I'd show you. I'm only showing you one of each. The one that I put on Sock Blockers there is 2 of each, but, and we're already fighting over who gets them in this house when I don't need them for display purposes anymore. But this first one might be my favorite. So this is Nautical Wheelers is the main color. Oh, that's why I had my cowl in here, and I've already taken it out. I knew I had the cowl in here. Anyway, which I'll mention in a minute. So this is Nautical Wheelers with the slate. And Bo made the comment. He said, wow, that really gives it a totally different vibe than having it with Cavendish. So if y'all remember the ooey gooey cowl that I had Laura do a sample knit, and I showed it last week. I think it was last week. Was it the week before? Anyway, I showed it. It had Nautical Wheelers with Cavendish, and totally different look. Still gorgeous, but here you really see the blues coming through. Bo made a comment about, like, you know, dirty overalls, and yeah, it's a very cool look. So I love that. These would be great with jeans. I mean, obviously, who doesn't like a bright, colorful pair of socks with whatever you're wearing? But these just struck me as like that would be good to wear with a pair of denim. And then Under the Mistletoe, which I have a sample of this in my Fluffy DK, but it's a completely different project. And so I had Michelle pair it with Mossy is the mini there accent. And then, of course, you may have seen this on social media because I already posted it. This is what Little Storm Cloud looks like. How cool is that? Look at those bright pops of color in there. And I had her pair it with a berry mini. I love that. That's awesome. This is very cool. All right. And then this is Hot and Cold is the main color. So you see it's got, and I could have sent her some burnt to go with that, burnt butter, but I sent Spirit of Freedom and also a little bit of Swan White, because I was like, I don't know if you have enough Spirit of Freedom in that, because I sent her some yarn I had already used. Anyway, so I was like, you might need some Swan White, so take that too. And anyway, so she put Swan White on the heel. So how good does that look? And then cookie crumbs. And you could use burnt butter with that, would look awesome. Aubergine would look good. I sent her a sweet cherry pie mini, and I love that too. That's a good, good fall color. So cookie crumbs and sweet cherry pie. So anyway, so yeah, so those will be, I'll have those as samples, and I'll do some social media content and all that good stuff with it. And she also was kind enough to send me a little cozy for that she had. She took some of the leftover yarns. So you see Mossy, Nautical Wheelers, Sweet Cherry Pie, Nautical Wheelers again, and Slate. So she made me cranked out a little cozy. How awesome is that? So yeah, so that was, thank you, Michelle. That was wonderful. I loved opening up that package. So, all right, what else? I haven't made more progress on my Triagonal. I'm going to be honest, there was not a lot of knitting going on here this week. Yeah. So Diane, want to try a shadow wrap heel? Yes. And the best video that I have found is, in fact, one of y'all told me about her, Earth Tones Girl. I think it's her. Now when I type in Earth Tones Girl, that video comes up automatically, because every time I've had to look at it, I look at her video and it comes up. But she has a couple actually on the shadow wrap heel that are good. If you want the link, email me and I'll send you that specific. It was the best one of her videos that I found. And I was so proud. My last pair of socks, I was actually able to do the heel without watching the video, because I remembered the formula. And that's what's so cool about it. Not only is it pretty quick, but it's nice to have, you know, oh, this is kind of my formula. I know exactly what to do. So if I'm in the car knitting, I don't have to worry about having the pattern there, you know, looking at it. I can just do my heel. So it's very good. Thank you, Kim. Yes, those are some very good colors for sure. So, oh yeah, the Christmas tree lights. I know. I love it so much. I didn't even think about that. That's very cool. Yes. Hey, Mary Ellen, happy to see you on here. No, I believe she is doing everything right on the machine. I'll ask her because I'm going to see her next weekend. In fact, I have a couple of things I need to chat with her about. But I believe that she is doing the heel right there on the machine. I could be wrong because I know a lot of people do afterthought heels, but that to me looks kind of machine done. Could be wrong. And then even the toe. And I know the hung hem is for sure. I'm confident of that. So yeah, I think she does it all. She's a master. All right, let's see. All right, Denise DeSantos. Is that her name, Diane? Earth Tones girl? I don't know. Is that what you're telling me? You know, when you all comment, you got to like give me the full details, especially if it's something that I've now switched to a new topic, because I'll just forget all about it. It's like I need a reference point to bring me back. All right, let's look at what is new in the shop. So a couple of things. First of all, we had Dying to Knit last night, which was fun. We dyed up a colorway for the movie Sleepy Hollow. I'm going to show it. I'm going to show it to you. So if you're in Dying to Knit and you weren't on the video last night and you don't want to see it yet, then look away. Here's the colorway. It's called Sleepy Hollow. And you might be like, what does that have to do with Sleepy Hollow? And like I told them, the movie is actually very kind of has a noir feel to it. It's very gray. And I think that's part of setting the tone because there's a murder on the loose and all that good stuff. But so Morgan, when she and I watched the movie, she was like, I don't know, what colors are you going to get from this? And I was like, I see some color. And there were some colors, especially with the female lead, Katrina von Tassel is the character's name. And, you know, they always showed her with a little more color. It was very pale, but she had some color on her. And so those were the colors that I pulled. So that's the colorway that I dyed, Sleepy Hollow. And then up on pre-order, inspired by that, but open to anybody, are the first one is called Ichabod's Blush. Very similar to your blushing, but much lighter. It's a much lighter concentrate, and it's got some gray speckles on it, the same gray that actually showed up a little bit in our colorway. So that goes nicely. And then the other one, so that's available on most bases. And if there's for some reason a base that I don't have listed and you're like, oh, I really would like a skein on this or that base, let me know. Since I'm doing a pre-order, you can order one of whatever. You don't have to have two of it. So then this is Misty Mountain is the other one. So, and that's that seafoam green that you see in there. So those are the two. Ichabod's Blush and Misty Mountain are up on pre-order. So if you're interested in those, that'll be up for about a week until I get a wild hair or get them dyed up and be like, okay, that's it. That's done. And then that will be gone. Okay. The other thing is, and I talked about this last week a little bit. So November is known as National Knit Sweater Month. All right. So I went through my queue and decided that paper keeps coming along with the back of my pattern. All right. And I found this sweater by Isabel Kramer. It's called Swan, Shaun. And I just love it. I love the way that it sits up here. It does have a bit of a mock turtleneck, but it sits very loosely. And of course, you could reduce that. You could just do a short rib section there if you didn't want that. It calls for worsted weight held with a lace weight. So a couple of things. I told you all last week, I said, look at the pattern, see if you're interested. So one of the things that I did, so I put together some color kits, and I did something a little bit different in that. So here's for example, a sweater that I did with worsted weight and lace weight yarn held together. This is the Wednesday sweater. You may have seen it at some point. I knitted up using Purple Leaf Plum, and I had Purple Leaf Plum as the color on both the worsted weight yarn and the fluffy lace, right? And it has 2 strands held together. So, you can do that. You can, if you prefer, you say, well, I would like to do it, but I want them to be the same color. No problem. Just let me know. We can totally do that. I went down a kind of a different route just because I've been seeing where people are pairing to, hey, Liz, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, Kim, they do really go together nicely, don't they? Okay, so I've been seeing where people pair similar colors, and I'm loving the look of it. So what I did in the kits is I did something very similar. So, but let me back up for a minute. So in the kits, how I did it is, if you look at the pattern, she has the sizes listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then she gives you the finished bust circumference. And I know back when I first started knitting sweaters, I was always like, okay, so what does that mean? So that means that is the measurement, what you should end up when your project is complete. So the finished circumference of your sweater, right? So and she tells you the sample is worn with 5 inches positive ease, which I really like the look of that. And so for example, I measured myself this morning and it came out to 36.5 inches, right? So if I start with 36.5 and add 5 inches, that would be 41.5 inches. Well, looking at this, she gives you them. I fall right between a size 2 and a size 3. Now, yardage wise, it's the same amount of skeins for a size 2 and a size 3, but a size 2 is supposed to, if my gauge is correct and matches what she has in the pattern, then I would get 40 inches, which is just 1.5 inches less ease than what she has. Or I can go up to a size 3, 43.25, which that is almost 2 more inches of positive ease. So almost 7 inches of positive ease. So what I will probably do is check my gauge swatch after I've blocked it, see where I'm at, and whichever way I'm leaning, I'll go, that way. I have a feeling I'll pick a size 2, but we shall see. So if you have any questions on that, another thing is she has you doing a, what's it called? It's not a provisional cast on. It's called, hang on, because I looked at it and I found a different video, actually. She has a video on the cast on, but I found a different one, the Italian cast on. And the main thing about the Italian cast on that she has is that it's the same as like a tubular cast on, or the Italian bind off, which kind of looks, I'm trying to think what, I should have brought my yun in because I did one. It takes a little bit extra time, but it ends up giving you this nice finished edge that instead of like being a blunt finished edge, it almost looks like there's no beginning and no end. It's like a rounded finish to it. And so it just looks nice if you're willing to take the time. Anyway, but like I said, I found a video that I actually liked better than the one that she had, which I'll post at some point once we get to actually knitting the sweater. But Kim, love the neck. I know, I do too. I really like that it's nice and wide, but it has a cozy feel to it. Deb, it's a sewn bind off. I don't know. Well, now, my habit of looking at patterns and then not going all the way through to finding out. One thing that I do like about this pattern I noticed is that she has you doing your ribbed on the sleeves. Hang on, there's a picture of it. It's, well, oh, here, you can see it here. See that? Where the rib, and she tells you exactly how to do it. You get the ribbing that's kind of at an angle. I love that detail. She's really good in her patterns about doing fun little details like that that make it look like, oh, it was, you know, super challenging. And it's not. It's super easy. She always has good explanations. I do like that about her patterns. So in terms of the cast on, I'm not seeing. Where is, oh, I'm sorry, the bind. Did you say bind off? Yeah, bind off. Let's see. It just says bind off all stitches in pattern. So I'm not seeing that. I don't know that I would know how to do its own bind off. Or is that another name for like, oh no, it wouldn't be because that was an Italian cast on. Anyway, it's doable. And if you don't want to do the Italian cast on, you can always just do a regular cast on. To me, the bind off is usually what has the blunt edge more so than a cast on. In fact, who knows? I may get lazy and just do a regular long tail cast on. All right, so what are the color combinations that are available? So the first one, I went with this combination of Swan white and sprinkles. So, and I did that one because that was what I did on my ranunculus, if y'all remember. And then Cindy Nicholas also did a ranunculus in that same matchup. And I just love it. So the fluffy lace is what has all the color and it's kind of muted in there. So I love that combo. So I did that. And then also the one that I am going to be using is burnt butter and nautical wheelers. Right there. So, and this, what I did when I paired these up is that I paired colors that are similar enough that they're really going to complement each other. You're not going to have one that's drastically different than the other. And I went ahead just for the sake, since this is what I will be knitting with when I'm not getting started yet, trust me. But since this is what I will be working with, I went ahead and started my gauge swatch because I thought, well, that way y'all can see what it looks like. So you can see where the nautical wheelers, it just is a nice complement. And some of that silvery blue in there, it just, you can just see hints of it here and there. But it doesn't take away from the burnt butter, but it's just a nice accent. And then you can see some darker bits of color in there. And so that's kind of what I was going for with each of these combinations in the kits. And then I showed you my sweater with purple leaf plum. Well, instead of doing a purple leaf plum on fluffy lace, I thought, what about adding Cat's Meow? And just to brighten it up just the tiniest bit, I think. So that's very cool. One of my favorites, they're all good. What can I say? And I had some help picking these out. Morgan helped me pick out some, and Bo did too, actually. I get lots of help on the color front. But this one where you have leprechaun, and I'm pairing it with Go Big or Go Home. And so you'll have just a little bit of deepening of that bright tealy color in there. So that'll be good. And then I love this one too. Oh, yeah. It's a good thing I already picked my burnt butter and nautical wheelers because I'm just tempted to do all of these. But this one is After Midnight, would be on worsted, and then slate on fluffy lace. Oh, that's gonna look good. All right, so those are your options. And I think it's an automatic discount of like 10% if you order within the next week. That way, kind of just a little bit of an incentive to get your orders in early, to give me plenty of time so I'm not rushed to get them dyed up. Yes, I know. Burnt butter. Well, and everybody's been knitting with burnt butter, and I finally decided, you know what? I need to knit with burnt butter. So this is my chance now to knit with it. So yeah, good stuff. And then, of course, as a result of that, it being Nani Swimo in November, that will be our November fiber challenge. Also, is to do a sweater. Not, and you don't even have to um, use my yarn, and you don't have to knit that pattern. You can knit whatever you want. So if you have another pattern, you have another color combination, whatever, if you need a special order, just let me know, and I'll still do the 10% off if you get it in within the next week. Love the blue. I know. I'm kind of, who knows? Maybe I'll hit a streak and I'll get done quick. I mean, it is worsted and fluffy lace together, so it should knit up quick. And maybe this will be one of those Novembers where I get to knit 2 sweaters for November. We'll see. It's happened before. It might happen again. Good. Anything is possible. All right. So what is coming up? Couple of things. First of all, I mentioned that the pink ribbon, those have all been shipped or are they out today. And then Dying to Knit people, you already know where you're at with that. And then monthly mini color clubs are also getting ready to go out. So one thing I don't know that anybody has a question about this, but I was kind of thinking about it because I had it come up. So I'm starting to ship monthly mini color clubs. Some of them will go out next week, but there were a few that the pink ribbon was being dyed up and finished exactly at the time that monthly mini color club was being dyed up and finishing up. And so if you're someone who had ordered both of them, then I went ahead and combined them because it was at the same time and then just reimbursed your shipping. So I don't do that if it's going to be more than, I'm not going to wait a week, hold a yarn unless you tell me to. If you ever have something, 2 things that you bought and you're like, you know what, you can hold off on this until this other thing is ready, then let me know and I'll definitely do that. And then when I combine shipping, I'll refund anything that's extra. So just in case anybody ever has a question about that, and I'm trying to think, have I actually looked at my checkout process? I know that somewhere there's the ability to leave a note because some of you have left me notes. So, but if you can't find it, let me know and I'll figure out where it's at. Kim says, make 2. I would love to make 2, especially of that sweater, because it's such a cool, I hope it fits me as good as it does her. I absolutely love the fit of that. I'm not going to end it early. I'm not going to be lazy. I'm going to make it right. Yeah, because I'm excited and I'm hoping we'll be going to Nashville for Thanksgiving again this year. So I'm excited. I'm hoping the weather's nice and chilly and I'll be able to wear, who knows, maybe I'll get my first sweater done before the trip so I can wear it, even though I do have some other warm sweaters, like my Wednesday sweater is nice and warm. My Yoon is nice and warm. So that's a good one to wear also. So yeah, I've got plenty of warm sweaters. But all right, the other thing, the post office is closed Monday. So after today, shipping will resume on Tuesday. So, and then tomorrow I didn't even mention this, tomorrow's I Love Yarn Day. It feels a little to me like we celebrate yarn all the time, right? We love yarn every day. But somewhere along the line, somebody came up with I Love Yarn Day, and tomorrow is the official I Love Yarn Day. So a lot of yarn shops are doing things, or people are getting together and knitting, or, whatever, crocheting, spinning. And I will be at the Common Thread over in St. Pete all day long. And at 11, I'll be doing just a quick talk about my bases. What are some good projects to knit or crochet with any of them? What are their characteristics? What are they good for? That type of thing. So, yeah, so I'm excited about that. I haven't done a trunk show at the Common Thread, so I'm excited to meet a lot of people there. So I'm knitting now on a sweater I started in 2022. So knitting into, and yeah, it's funny because who don't like to have languishing whips, if they're in there too long, I'll just pull them out. But I do have a sweater that I started, and I think it was a Nani Swimo sweater, a good 3 years ago. I don't remember the name of it, but I still have the yarn for the sleeves sitting on my table out there because I did the body and just never did the sleeves. I literally only have the sleeves left. I need to pull that out. And I don't think it was an Isabel Kramer, but it might have been. I don't even remember the name of the pattern. I just know every time I see that yarn, it's like, ooh, judgment looking me in the face. I don't know why I haven't finished it. I don't know why. Anyway, ooh, yeah, one from 2023. We're going to have some people finishing up some sweaters in IC in Nani Swimo. It can be National Finish a Sweater in November too. Why not? Bo, that silverish looking sweater you did looks really good. Yeah, that's my Yoon. That was one I combined two different. I'll bring that one if I remember next week to show you all. I think I did Out of the Mist was my main color. And then I want to say Silver Linings was the fluffy lace, the lace weight that I held with it. And yeah, it's just, I love that where you have the two different colors that are very similar. It just kind of gives a whole different feel to the piece. It elevates it just a little bit. Gives it a little more visual interest. All right. And then 1 week from tomorrow is the Falling into Fiber vendor market, also retreat over in Cocoa. So I'm looking forward to that. I apparently have quite a few people signed up to do a sock blank dye experience. So I'm excited. So Bo will have to man the booth that day because I will be busy. Oh, what am I wearing? That's a good question, Diane. It's been a while since I've worn this. This is the As If tee. I hesitate to wear this one sometimes because the gauge that I knitted at, you can see my bra underneath it sometimes. But it's such a beautiful pattern. Like I'm tempted to make another one. So it's the As If tee, the fingering, because she also has a DK version of it. But I absolutely love the increases she did as yarn overs. And so it just is a very cool detail. And short sleeve, of course, with an I-cord finish. And what makes it neat, and you don't have to do this, but what I love about it is that you alternate rows of fluffy lace, essentially, and then another fingering weight yarn. And these are the same color. So it's Queen of Tarts. I couldn't remember the colorway. So it's Queen of Tarts, but again, because I did it. So this is silky sock and then fluffy lace. And so because it's two different bases, it just gives kind of a shimmery effect of being striped. So yeah, I love it. I really do want to make another one because it's perfect for summer, even fall, really. And you could use two fingering weight yarns if you wanted. There's so many different things that you could do with this. It's a great pattern. I cord bind off, so it just has a nice smooth finish. Another thing that I did here, and I don't even know how I did it, but at one point I think I snagged it because there was a hole in it. And so this was probably the first darning job that I ever did, mending. And boy, I say that. I don't know. I mean, I did it with the right yarn, so I don't know how well you can see it if you're just glancing. But if you look at it close, you can tell, that Carolyn's mending job there. I really want to learn to do like visible mending and make cool, people who put cool patches, different colored patches in their clothes. I love that. I just think that's the coolest thing ever. But this one I have actually worn like with a nice silk skirt and dressed it up. So I kind of like that about it too. So, hey, Evie, you're right at the tail end, but I'm glad you're here. It's so good to see you. Um, oh, Bo. So I have this. I don't know if y'all remember a long time ago. It's been a couple of years anyway. I knit Bo the Oxbow cardigan, and for some reason, she has you knitting the sleeves separately. And then, like, you knit them first, which I wouldn't have had to knit them first. I should have just knit the cardigan and then picked up stitches for the sleeves. But instead, I knit the sleeves separately, like she tells you to do, probably because of it's got an interesting stitch pattern, which I had trouble keeping up with it, to be honest. But and making it work out right with I don't remember, was it increases, decreases in the body of the sweater. Anyway, he likes it, but the sleeves are like, I don't know, that much too long. And I know that I checked it against him when I was knitting it. I don't know why they ended up so long. Anyway, all I need to do is pull it out, on the bottom of the sleeves and then reknit the cuff. That's all I need to do, but it's just a matter of getting it done. So maybe I will get to that this November. We'll see. We'll see. This holiday season, when I decide to take some time off, we'll get it done. Oh, Evie, don't apologize. It's okay. I'm just glad you're here. All right. I think that's all I have, y'all. Thank you for joining me as always. I always have a good time with you, and I will be here next week. In fact, I'll be here for the next couple weeks. I don't have another fiber festival until November. We'll be going to Alabama, which I'm excited about that as well. Hopefully some cooler weather. Anyway, hey, y'all take care. If you're doing something for I Love Yarn Day, then by all means do it happily and do it carefully and take care of yourselves. All right. And I will see you next week. All right. Bye, everybody.